Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina. I love entrepreneurs and authors and mindset coaches and people from every walk of life that have discovered their reason for being on this planet. And that's why I love Raykel Tolson. She's all of those things and a lot more, including being an attorney, a mediator, a pharmacist, a professor, a film director, and a podcast host. The overriding theme of all her work is educating and counseling others. Her life's mission is to educate, encourage, and empower. Raykel, welcome to the Something Significant Show.
Thank you for having me. And can I take you around with me so you can do the introduction for me? You made me sound so cool.
Very good. So just tell us what you're doing these days to leave your mark of significance on the world.
You know, I love that you, the whole significance, because that's like huge. And when people think about what they do and how it affects people, I think, you know what? Out of everything that you name, I think the most significant thing I've ever done was being a parent. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Being a good parent, not just a parent, being a good parent is huge in today's society because you can tell how people will parent. I'm not saying that if a kid is bad, it's always a parent's fault, but a lot of times it is. A lot of times it is. So just doing that, my son is 26 now. I know I probably look like I'm just 26 too, but my son is 26. He's got his master's in education. He has degree in music, and he decided that he was going to be a teacher like my dad. My dad was a teacher, and my son was like, you know, I want to do that. And just, I feel like I was significant in bringing that, you know, and now he's going to affect so many young people's lives. If I don't do anything else, I have done a lot, okay? But Matt, I do things too. So I have my books. All of my books, I write all of my books to encourage people to think about what they think about. I have a master's in counseling, and one of the classes like really stuck with me, just being conscientious people. And to be conscious, you have to always be thinking about what you think about.
Yeah.
That's what makes us conscientious.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say you have to think this, you have to think that. It's just think about what you're thinking about and why you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
That is so deep to me. And so all my books now, even fiction, nonfiction, even the children's books, I want the kids to start thinking about what they do. And when they're young, you kind of have to help them shift that. So we have a bedtime prayer to help them to be grateful, just to have an attitude of gratitude. And then we have one about affirmation. So we can help them how to think, you know. But after that, when they're adults, it's just like, okay, so why do you think that? Does that, you know, how does that serve you? Is it working for you?
Good question.
Yeah.
How does it serve you? Well, that's awesome that you're doing all that today. What I want to know is, take us back to a time in your life when you were working both as an attorney and a pharmacist. I've never met an attorney and a pharmacist doing that work together.
So,
what was that like?
Yeah, it was weird because in the pharmacy, we were working 12-hour days. So we don't work, you know, back to back. We have off days. And then I worked for a small law firm that was okay with me coming in on my off days from the pharmacy. So I would work my 12-hour days as a pharmacist. And then the next day I was probably going in and doing 8 to 10 hours as a lawyer. And I did that for a while, but then I realized that I didn't like being a lawyer, Matt. The TV makes us feel like the lawyers are kind of in charge. Like the lawyers give the good advice, and then the people like, yeah, let's do that. And everything works out fine. That's not how it works in real life. Mm-hmm. People, as a lawyer, you know, they come to you, you give them their advice, and they're like, okay, yeah, I hear that, but go get them. I want this, and they're not reasonable. We were doing family law, which is probably the worst one. And I would think because it was interesting, it was always a different story. But the people, the emotions that people carry, they just wanted to hurt each other. And I'm like, well, you were family.
Okay.
You got children. You're going to continue to be family. Why do we need to do that? And I was just like, you know what? I am nobody's bulldog. I'm not doing it. So I stopped being a lawyer because of that aspect.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's do quickly. Take us out 10 years and tell us how you plan to be impacting the world in 2030 and beyond. It's almost hard to say.
Well, in 2030, I hope to be doing inspirational movies and not just books. I want my books to be movies because more people watch movies than they read books, and so I want to make sure I have some content out there on Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all those other places people are watching all these movies. And like, I want movies like about the books. I want people to really think about why they move, but I want them to be entertained. I don't want to preach and hit them over the head. That's why I love in the fiction, I can give you a story and you can follow the characters, and then it makes you think like, am I like this character? And do I think, or why am I looking at this character side-eyed as I'm reading this book? Like, why don't I like this character? It's thoughts that you're having in your head, and it's the same way you meet people. And it's like, why do we do that? You're not even giving the person a chance. So yeah, that's where I see you 10 years from now. Also, I see myself really helping middle class and lower and middle class Christian families finally start living the abundant life. With the book that I wrote, Why Church for Poor, the mindset about money is so messed up. Oh my gosh.
100%.
We think that we're supposed to be poor to be close to God. Not the truth. And then just trying to get the Christian families to change their mindset about money, and then to give them practical tools, like, hey, did you know that you can use life insurance to change your family? Yeah, it's something that simple, And so I hope to be doing more of that in 10 years. I want a lot of families calling me, hey, we just hit $1 million because we've been saving all of this money. And I'm like, yes. Well, and you don't have to be a professional athlete to make $1 million. Like, come on, we can do this.
Well, that takes me into the next segment here. As I define significance, it's doing things you love in places you love with people you love and creating something of value for others. So it's doing and it's giving. But to be a giver, you need excess capacity in your life, including financial capacity.
Yes.
So the question is, what are your personal practices, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? What do you do to increase your capacity so you can take good care of yourself and still have more to give to others?
Now, of course, while you were talking, of course, a plane went over and it was like crazy loud. But so self-care, I take, self-care, it's huge. And I start with my spiritual practice because I'm a spiritual being. That's what I am, not a physical being. I'm a spiritual being. So that's the most important part and so it's the prayer, meditation. Meditation is so key. And with the meditation comes breathing. Making sure I get the oxygen in and out of my lungs. Exercise does that. I know. But you know what else does that? Water, drinking a lot of water, and just actually breathing, not just letting my subconscious breathe for me. Because we breathe without us even thinking about it. I have to consciously breathe so I can breathe, right and not shallow. The podcast I have, Blessed, that is my ministry, but that gives me so much joy, and just I get to meet new people, nice people. Oh my gosh, I need to have it. I need to have it, and it's like, do I do a lot of them in advance? But then it's like, but then I have weeks where I'm not talking to people. It's like, I don't know if I want to do it like that because I enjoy just the meeting the people. So just I guess that's the relational part, because God made us very relational. We aren't meant to be alone. And that doesn't just mean being married. God did not create us to be alone, and having partners with people in everything we do is just, it's just beneficial. So it is good for me. And then the last thing is just staying creative, being able to create, whether it's writing, whether I actually wrote lyrics to a couple of songs. But it's just the creative. I said I was going to start painting, but I decorated the house, watching HGTV and getting ideas. That creativity just like is bubbling up, just sitting there watching them change things. It's like, okay, when my room can I do that with? And but it's something that it's self-care, it's just like a massage, or it's just like a bath, but it's massaging my creativity because,
When you're doing physical things or mental things or other things that lift your spirit,
yeah,
it creates a new level of energy.
yeah,
And it's like when you fall in love for the first time with somebody, you're excited about everything. And so
yes.
create that engagement in your capacity building. It creates more energy instead of like, I'm doing all these things and I'm exhausted. No, I'm
So
excited, right?
yes, yes. And it's like, because you have to, so when you talk about you can't give from an empty cup, but here's what people need to realize. And I want to say this. You don't give from your cup. You give from the overflow. You give from the saucer. Stop giving from your cup, people.
That's right on.
If your cup has not overflowed into the saucer, you have nothing to give. And it's okay. Do not give from your cup. Always
100%.
give from your saucer.
And that's emotionally, that's spiritually, and people, that's financially. Exactly. Right on. I think we're going to have a good time here, Raykel. But let's take a commercial break because I want to tell everybody about three things: a super cool company called Third Rock Essentials, how they can get a 20% discount for life at Happy Living, and how their February purchases will support a great big donation to WYTV7. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Third Rock Essentials, a company founded by a surfer with a PhD that believes all personal care products should be so safe you can eat them. I drink an ounce of chelated silver oxide supplement every day to strengthen my immune system. Third Rock Essentials has all natural sun care, skin care, and silver supplement products I trust. Check them out at happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy. You'll save 20% off all purchases every time you buy using promo code HAPPYLIVING. Plus, for every order placed during the month of February, I'll donate 20% to WYTV7. Okay, we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm Matt Gersper. Hey friends, join us in the natural movement towards USA-sourced, toxin-free personal care. Check out our all-natural sunscreen, skincare, and silver products at happyliving.com. Select Friends of Happy and shop Third Rock Essentials. And now let's get back to my mindset shifting rock star, Raykel Tolson. She also owns Tolson Publishing. It's a Christian-based family business that publishes books that make you think about what you think about. This is one busy and inspiring woman. So Raykel, in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I explore the idea that big transformations and discovery of purpose often come from devastation. A terrible illness, a family disaster, some big crisis shakes your life. But I've used a happier way and created transformations in my life with inspiration. So the question is, was there a specific moment or a shift of mindset when either devastation or inspiration revealed to you your purpose that you were meant to live?
That's such a good question. I think it was probably both. The devastation happened in 2009 when I lost my mom. She battled with pancreatic cancer, but once they find out about pancreatic cancer too late. That's why most people don't survive it. So I think what her death did, it opened me up for a mindset shift. It didn't create the mindset shift, but it opened me up because I had lost basically my anchor. And I realized that my anchor was no longer there, and I had to actually, I had to rethink some things. And so it was a process. It took a while, but it was a process, but I was open to it. Before I wasn't open to it. I didn't need to be open to nothing because I had my mom and she did everything. I didn't need to be open to anything else. Like we really, the way that we had our, like, we always loved God and we believed God, but my mom was like, look, we got to get it. Let's do this. She was saving money. She was all about doing everything. But after she went, because nobody else was doing it. So was I either going to do it or was I going to be like, maybe I should be like, let God do it. Why I got to be God? My mama did that, but I don't have to do that, right? So that was like the first part. But then in 2016, now I live in Los Angeles, and anybody out there.
So 7 years later.
Yeah. I live in LA where the housing market is ridiculously high. I mean, to buy a condo, you're looking at $500,000. And even as a pharmacist, I was like, yeah, that's just crazy. Who could afford that? So I had in my head that I would never own a house in California. I just find nice apartments. Okay, so in 2016, Spirit was like, go get a house. Me? You know, I live in LA, right? Should I be moving? Yeah, no, go look at a house. So I started looking at houses. I did the pre-approval. I was approved for about 500,000. Still not a whole lot of houses for real for that, right? But I was looking, I was finding, and then I talked to my landlord and she said, no, you need to get a duplex. She was like, this is an opportune time. It's your first time buying a house. She said, you can use the FHA. You only have to put 3.5% down, and you can own a house and have a space for, be a tenant for tenants. And she's like, and then eventually your son, when he gets older, he can move into that one or, whatever. So I was like, I was like, well, the only one I found that I liked, because she's like, only look at those. It was 620. And I was like, that I can't do that. She was like, aren't you a Christian? Don't the Bible say you can do all things through Christ? Don't it say he'll give you the desires of your heart? Do you desire it? And it was just like, not in church, with my Nigerian landlord telling me that I needed to elevate my thoughts. And then I had to exercise my faith because I can think that I can do it, but now you got to exercise your faith to do it. So you got to leave it out. I had to stop buying stuff. Couldn't spend money and then I had to say, okay, well, this is how much I'm going to need for a down payment. Make it happen. And when I say make it happen, I'm not saying that I had to create the how, but it was like, Spirit was saying, go ask this person, go ask this person. Yep. Me ask people for help? Yeah. I'm going to ask somebody to loan me or give me money for a down payment? Yeah, why not? Yeah. People do it all the time. Do they? And so it was a whole mindset shift.
So let me ask you, because I read something when I was doing research on you, from your mom's death in 2009 until this mind shift here, you had some really tough depression and even thoughts of suicide. Is that?
Well, the thoughts of suicide actually came before that. The thoughts of suicide, not after my mom, because, my son needed me. So he didn't have anybody else. But it was when my son was like a 2-year-old. That was like a long time ago when I had the thoughts of suicide, which is still, though, it's vital because that was a part of the purpose also. But I just didn't see it. But that's when I started writing books. When I used to write when I was a little kid, 10 years old, I was writing books. But that's when I was like, you know what? People are going through this depression. Let me share what I went through and how I got through it. So my very first book was Just a Little Talk with Jesus. And that's with just me pouring out my heart to everybody and helping them, hopefully the way that I was helped. So that's still, and it's crazy. That really still didn't change my mindset or my purpose. You would think that would have been the moment, but it wasn't. And I'm going to tell everybody.
What was the moment with the realtor? That was the moment?
The realtor, it was the getting the house in California was the moment when I said, you know what? Because God put it on my heart again, just like the other book. You need to write a book to share it with people. And then it was like, hey, I write books to help people because it was really about me. The first book was about me. That book was even just about me. But then it's like, you help people. You can do this. Isn't it crazy that it took that long?
That's funny. Well, no, it happens when it happens. And I was
Yeah.
interviewing someone before on this show, and he said, thousands of years ago, when I describe inspirations as, the universe talking to you or getting a lightning strike, you can feel something. And he said, when you felt that way 2,000 years ago, that was a commandment from God, and you got up and you did what you heard.
Yeah.
And he says, in today's world, we don't listen to that anymore. And so I wrote about it in a different way with turning inspiration into action. You're describing it, in the way you are, the spiritual way that God told me to do this. And I think the important message is listen. When you get those feelings or those voices, listen.
Yes. And Matt, it's important that I want to make sure that your listeners don't think that I'm one of these people that think that God from outside of myself told me this. It was God inside. It's so personal. It's the spirit, and it lives with, and it's always talking. That's why meditation is so important. Yeah. And now I understand, and now I can hear better.
That's beautiful. So we've talked about capacity. It's important. We've talked about purpose, and you discover, and I think you're always discovering. It changes too sometimes in life. But when you find your purpose and you combine those two, the sky's the limit, right?
Yes.
And I call that the happy formula. Capacity plus purpose equals happy in my world. Mm-hmm. But the real magic of life comes from the fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value to others. So in the work you're doing, how does it feel when you help someone shift their mindset from one of despair and scarcity to one of joy and abundance? What kind of joy does that bring you?
It's probably it feels so good. And let me tell you, in just the smallest shift, when I can say something and somebody gets it and they say, you know what, that makes sense. Oh, it's just like, yes, I feel like the angels are rejoicing. It's like, that's how I feel. I feel like it's that big of a production when people finally get it. And I'm like, I can just imagine how God feels when we finally get it. He's like, they got it. And the angels are rejoicing in heaven. I feel like it's a big party when people get, and when I learn something new, that it gives me a deeper appreciation or it enlightens me, I can feel that big celebration in heaven going on. It's just like, hallelujah.
I've been thinking about this, and if somebody reads a book of mine and they tell me later, wow, I had a person say, your book changed my mom's life. Wow. And it feels just so amazing. And I think I've been thinking about why and watching you today. And I think the reason if I tell you, hey, Raykel, there's a great restaurant in LA that you can go to, and you'll say, I went there, hey, Matt, the food was great. It doesn't bring me incredible joy. But when I'm giving you my authentic self,
yes,
and it adds value, then it's like, I'm glad you got value, but man, it was great for me. And that's what I want people to understand. It just really feels good.
Yes, it does. And it goes and it makes you feel like you are here for a purpose.
Yeah.
And it makes you more appreciative of everything that you've been through, the bad, the ugly, all of it. You appreciative because it's in this moment that I was able to bless somebody because of my words and my authenticness.
And you needed that whole journey. That whole journey is what created you. All the good, the bad, and the ugly. You needed all of it to get to where you are. So this is awesome. But we're running out of time here. So let's do a little lightning round. I love to read one of my favorite quotes and then have you respond so we can peer inside your brain, see how you think a little bit. And I know you're a financial expert. So from Grandpa George in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he said to Charlie, there's plenty of money out there. They print more of it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
For me, it's just abundance. It's like, stop thinking that it's only a little bit to go around. And that's where we all think, oh, if that person has a lot, then I need to go steal theirs because that's the only way I'm going to get it.
Right.
No, there's so much. There's just, the earth is abundant. The earth is abundant. If you look at some people's yard, you have fruit and vegetables growing, and some of it, like I have a fruit tree. I didn't plant that fruit tree. I'm like, I didn't do that, but it's there. It's abundant. It's like even in the neighborhoods where you don't even see a lot of grass and a lot of trees, an apple tree could grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so much abundance in this earth. So I wholeheartedly love that, because you don't have to take from nobody else and you don't have to feel less than nobody else. You can just go get your own.
Yep. Beautiful. Okay. From Walt Whitman, re-examine all you've been told, dismiss that which insults your soul. I think you know that one.
Yes, I do. Yes, that's my favorite one, because especially in the religious community, we hold on tight to beliefs because that's what grandmama told us. That's what the preacher told us. But my thing is, if it does not make you feel good, if it does not move you to the place you want to be, should you hold on to it? Because I will tell everybody out there that God is good. That is really it. You can exchange God and good. His purpose and the desire for all of us is good. We get to define that good. So if there's a belief that you out of God's name that is not creating good, let me tell you, it's probably one that you need to dismiss, because God is only good, only good. So if there's a scripture that makes you feel less than, you might not need that scripture. Or maybe you can go to somebody like me or somebody else that's spiritual that can help you shift how you think about that scripture. Right. But all I can tell you is stop holding on to stuff that's not good for you.
100%. Okay, last one. From Goth, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Oh, that's just me in a nutshell. Now, I will say, because I begin stuff, people like, you just said you was going to do that and you did it. Oh, yeah, I got to be quick on it. My issue, and now I'm going to have to work on, is to finish the thing. I got like 3 or 4 books that I started, but I am that person. I'm like, I have to boldly go, even if it's not to do the thing, but to learn more about the thing that if something pops in my head, I need to know more about it.
And I'd also say, if you start a bunch of things and they're exciting for a while, and then one of them's not really giving you anything and you're not feeling it, and that's part of the reason you're not finishing it. Maybe it's not the right thing for you. Maybe you weren't inspired by it. Maybe you just admired it or something like that. And fail fast and put your time into the things that are jacking you up. You know what I mean?
Yes. I love how you said fail fast. So okay, that's not the thing for me. And you know what? And as far as my books though, what I've learned though, when it's time, I'll go back to it. I get it out of my head because there's some things I just don't want to forget. And then it's not time. And when it's time, I can go back and reacquaint myself with the characters and the stuff. And I have finished books like that. My latest book, my Christmas book, I Need a Christmas Angel. I started that last November and I just finished it this year. But oh my gosh, it was a good book. It's a good book. So it was something that I was meant to write, but not then.
Yep, that's good. Okay, so take us home. Take a minute or two and share any parting remarks or comments you'd like to leave with our audience.
Okay, so we've already talked about it, but one of the things that I would always, when I leave a building, I want people to always be thinking, what beliefs do I live by? Why do I live by those? Who helped me form those beliefs? And are those beliefs moving me toward the abundant life that I so desire and so deserve? And if you find that they're not, then my question is, why are you holding on to them? And you need help releasing them, because especially religion, that's a really hard thing to release.
Yeah.
Because we really feel like it's true, but not everything we learned was the truth. It
That's
wasn't.
right. There's religion and there's spirituality, man-made and spirit-made. That's what I believe. Yeah.
Because God was around before the first person called themselves religious.
That's right.
So how did they, but then those people decided this is how religion looked. So all those people before, what you did was wrong. You didn't interact with God.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, that's how I would really love to leave everybody. And then for them to go and check out my books if they want to, be entertained, or I think all of them are entertaining. Even my nonfiction books are entertaining, I believe.
Well, very good. Thank you, Raykel. You've done so many different things, and your beautiful spirit just jumps right through the screen. I love how you're using all of it, your personal and professional experience and your beautiful spirit, to help others to think about what they think about, to nurture their spirit, and to help them relieve beliefs that no longer serve them so they can live life more abundantly.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing your gifts to lift others.
Thank you.
And now, folks, if you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Raykel Tolson, please give what you can to WYTV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. A great big thank you to WYTV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep reaching ordinary people that are ready to create their own extraordinary lives. A special thank you to our sponsors for the month of February, Third Rock Essentials and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate 20% of every purchase for the entire month to WYTV7. So tell all your friends too. Go to happyliving.com, select Friends of Happy, and shop Third Rock. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Raykel Tolson. Find her, friend her, buy her books, schedule a free money mindset coaching consultation, and attend a free Money 101 online workshop. What do you got to lose? Just give her a chance and she'll change your mind in a way that'll change your life. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be happy. We do what we do on the Something Significant show to inspire you to live your life to its fullest, to believe as I do that a better self is always possible today and every day for the rest of our lives. This is your time to be bold. You've been dreaming about it, so now get on with it, for it's there on your special path, the one to your dream, your unique and distinctive journey. That's where you'll discover the way to make your mark of significance on the world. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome, and this is the Something Significant Show.